Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and since we are coming up to the end of the year, I wanted to do the end of year book tag, sort of chat about how my reading has gone this year, answer some book questions, and yeah, just reflect on the past year. There are 22 questions, and I will have them all listed down below if you would like to answer any of them yourself. Let's just jump in without further ado. Question number one is the most disappointing book of the year, and for me, I feel like that was Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I enjoyed book one and I really enjoyed book two, and so I was excited to see how this was going to wrap up and how our characters were going to get through what was revealed at the end of book two. But for me, I just don't like the way that this series ended. It felt like a bit of a cop out, and yeah, I feel like our characters were not, they didn't try to actually get themselves out of the situation at all. Question number two is the underdog book of the year. And for me, I put down Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I was a bit hesitant going into this book because of the reviews, but I ended up really enjoying it. I just found it at the perfect time, and a lot of what our characters were going through resonated with me. So I feel like that's the underdog book of the year for me. I don't know if that's really what this question was asking, but that's really the only book as I was looking through my lists that kind of made sense. Question number three, a book that was overhyped. For me, that is The Spark of the Everflame series by Penn Cole. I feel like so many people find this series is like their favorite and speak so highly of it, but I just really do not like DM, and I find her extremely frustrating. And I just really thought that I was going to love this series, and unfortunately, I did not. It has been a minute since I have read any of the books from this series. I kind of forgot that I read it this year. Feels like it's been forever, but there's still one book to go whenever it decides to come out. Question number four is your favorite book couples of the year, and I put down Unsteady or Unloved by Peyton Corinne. I just really loved how both of the characters showed up for each other in both of these books and were there through all the hard parts, all the good parts. I just really, really enjoyed that, and to bring them both 5 stars. So, question number five, your favorite main character of the year. I put down Rosie from Wild Love. She just gave off like the best black cat energy. That book was just, I was smiling and giggling the entire way through. I don't remember the last time I have laughed as much as I did reading that book, and I think Rosie was a big part of that. Definitely my favorite book in the Rose Hill series. Question number six, a book that surprised you. I put down Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I went into this book, like I read this book very close to when Brimstone released, so I hadn't heard anything about this book for a while, and from my memory, I feel like the most recent comments I had heard about this is that people didn't enjoy it. And so I went into this with very low expectations, and color me surprised when I had the best time reading this. Absolutely loved it. Come to find out, as Brimstone was coming out, a bunch of people were again anticipating this, and the common like consensus is that people did really enjoy this book, but I was floored at how much I enjoyed it. I had a fantastic time and cannot wait to pick up Brimstone here soon. Question number nine is the most frustrating book that you read in 2025. For me, I think that is Desecrated Saints by J. Rose. This is the last book in the Blackwood Institute series. This is a very, very dark romance. I just feel like all of our characters, they needed a win and they just kept sabotaging each other and didn't show up for each other the way that I guess I expected them to. And there's also a lot of like time jumps during moments that I felt would have been key moments in building relationships, building the plot, things like that. Question number 10 is the best adaptation of the year. I honestly don't watch a lot of adaptations. Looking back, I don't really know what I watched over the past year, but I did watch most of the Summer I Turned Pretty, not the most current season, but I did watch that and enjoy it while I was watching it. My boyfriend and I also started watching We Were Liars. I think we only watched like 2 episodes, so I can't fully comment on how much I enjoyed it, but I do think that it is pretty good so far, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. I honestly don't know much of the other adaptations that came out this year. I think a couple of Colleen Hoover's book adaptations came out this year or are about to come out. I don't know. Oh, I completely skipped over 2 questions. So question number 7 is actually a new favorite author that you discovered in 2025. And for me, I put down Peyton Corinne, who did the Undone series. They just really spoke to me. I just really loved those books. Very emotional, very like deep plot, and has plot along with a good romance. Just really enjoyed it. And then I also put down Allie Carter because I listened to her The Blonde Identity series, and they were just so fun, like early 2000s spy rom-com vibes. Had an excellent time with both of those. Question number 8 is the happiest book that you read this year, and I decided to put down Wild Love. Like I said earlier, I just did not stop giggling and kicking my feet and laughing out loud at this book, so it has to be the happiest book that I read this year. Jumping down a couple questions to question 11, the longest book that you read this year. I don't know for sure what the longest book that I read this year was, but I can only assume that it's one of the books from the Lady of Darkness series by Melissa K. Rorick. Those books were like 700 plus pages, so I can only assume that is one of the longest ones. I was trying to look on Goodreads or Fable, and at least the version of Fable that I have, I can't see those stats. So that's just what I assume the longest book that I read this year was. The shortest book that I read this year, which is question 12, I read quite a few novellas and like short stories this year as well, and I think this one was only about 8 pages, and that was Taken by Canada. Moving right along, if you want to find out more about what that is, I will link my July reading wrap up in the cards. Question 13 is your favorite cover of the year. Is this cheating to put on this special edition of Every Summer After? I just really love Carly Fortune's book covers. I think the like watercolor sort of vibe that really relates to the actual content of the book itself. And I did a reread of this book this year and I absolutely loved it. It was just so, so good. Even better the second time. As honorable mention, also One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, the sequel. So stunning. Question number 14, a book that you haven't stopped thinking about. And for me, I feel like for the most part, even though I rate book 5 stars, I don't necessarily think about them in the way that I feel like other people think about them who have them rated as like their god tier books, but like I don't necessarily remember quotes or things like that. Like Throne of Glass kind of lives in my head rent free because I get like content recommended to me on Instagram and stuff. But for this one, I decided to put down Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This was just such a unique and interesting read. I loved the historical like time periods that we got to see and the comments about human nature and sort of how that changes if you are basically granted a mortal life. It was fascinating. I was sucked in from the very beginning. Question number 15 is the cringiest book that you read this year, and I think that's The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This was cute, but there was a lot of elements, honestly, in this whole series so far that are pretty cringy and just aren't like fully fleshed out. They're definitely cute, quick stories, but not exactly how I expected. Question number 16, an unpopular book that you loved. I feel like for the most part, my unpopular opinion is that I dislike a lot of the books that most people enjoy, but for this one, I decided to put down Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I feel like this didn't get the best reviews overall, but I had a really good time with it. I really liked the messaging, the way that both plot lines came together, and just the historical aspect of like the past timelines of the story that our characters were trying to write. I just found it very fascinating. And it was kind of fun that it was different to Emily Henry's other books. Question 17 is, what is the highest and lowest rated book on Goodreads, and do you agree? So the highest rated book that I read this year was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I agree, but I think obviously so many more people would have read this than potentially some of the other books that I read this year. I wasn't as emotionally impacted by this book as I feel like other people are, and that might have been because I saw some reviews and kind of expected something completely devastating to happen, and I just didn't feel quite as connected to this book as I thought. I did rate this like 4 stars or so, so right around where the rating currently is. And then my lowest rated read, most of the lowest rated reads I had were these like short stories, like just smutty, I call them trauma reads. So I didn't include those because those are kind of hard to rate overall. And I will say the ones I think that have the lowest ratings are the Halloween ones that came out this year by Amazon Prime Collection author. Those ones, the Scared Sexy collection, which those ones were not very good compared to some of the other collections that they have done. So the lowest rated like full length book that I read was Fearful by Lauren Roberts, and this is the newest novella in the Powerless series. And I agree. I did not enjoy this book. I don't feel like it answered any questions and just made me feel more confused. And the POV that most of the book was in just didn't make any sense. The character didn't seem like they fit into the world of the Powerless series, so it just felt like a weird choice for me. Question number 18, what are your favorite quotes of the year? I don't tab or take pictures of quotes or really save many quotes, honestly, so I don't have an answer for this question. Question 19, a book with the most unique concept. For this, I put Quicksilver. I know a lot of people say that this book has very similar themes to other romantasy books and it's basically copy and paste, but for me, there's only so many tropes and things that you can add into these romance or like romantasy series. And I just love the way that Kelly pick and chose the different elements and put them together. That felt very unique to me. And also the magic system was completely unique and I absolutely loved it. Question number 20 is a book that you would reread. I put down Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I feel like I would just get more out of it if I reread it, and I just really absolutely loved it. But I don't know, there's a lot of books that I really enjoyed this year that I would probably enjoy rereading, but at the same time, I feel like there are just so many books and so little time. I just want to read everything. But I feel like that was one of the books this year that I finished it and said, wow, I would love to get that whole story again. Question 21 is a reflection of your 2025 reading goal and your reading goal for 2026. So, as of this moment that I'm filming this, December 14th, 2025, I have read 147 books, and my reading goal was 100 books. I think that's roughly around how many books I read in 2024 as well. I was going to just stick with 100 books again for 2026 because 100 feels like a bit of a challenge, but also if I read like 8 to 10 books a month, like I've been doing, I can hit that no problem. But then I was making my Fable reading goal, and I bumped it up to 120. So we're gonna try and do 120 books this year. So that's 10 books a month. I think it's pretty doable for me if I keep reading the way that I have been reading. We'll see. For me, the reading goal is just something kind of fun to do. It's not like I do want to hit it, but I know that it's not the end of the world, and I don't want to make it so challenging that I would never be able to hit it because I do want to balance other things. I have a full-time job, so We're going to try 120 this year. And the final question, question 22, after 2025 reading, what are you prioritizing in 2026? I feel like my answer is going to be the same that it always is. I want to finish more series that I'm in the middle of. I have a lot of series that I just have one book left, and I would love to just tick those off. And also, I guess just reading what I want to, reading things I'm excited about. I feel like I still have quite a few books that I need to catch up on that have been on my list for such a long time, like the early booktube days, or I guess the book talk days, even though I'm not on TikTok. I want to read all of those books. I want to read like Shatter Me and The Infernal Devices, the entire like Cassandra Clare world. I want to get into Brandon Sanderson more, like his Mistborn series. There's just so many books that I want to read, and yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens. But that is the entire end of year book tag. Like I said before, if you would like to answer any of these questions, either in your own video or in the comments below, I will have all the questions listed in the description box. Yeah, answer one of those questions. I would love to chat with you. I'd love to hear your answers. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like so that I know. And if you'd like to find me on the other corners of the internet, all of my links are listed down below. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.